our resident kit expert, George. How you doing?
Very good, Callum. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. Very, very excited to have you here. And as our viewers will start to learn, you are one exceptional individual when it comes to kit.
That's a very nice compliment. I won't say no to that. Well, I guess we'll let them decide.
Yeah, you can buy me a beer later on. Moving on though, just a little bit about your journey, George, really. I mean, your background, how did you get into, effectively being, which you are now, a kit expert?
So I guess a super quick summary, and to start with the disclaimer as well, the purpose of what I'm doing on this show is not to promote any of the work that I've done for brands in the past. It's to do something very different, which we'll come on to. But just as a bit of context, so my name is George Fox. I'm the founder of a company called Stretton Fox Sports. And almost 10 years ago, I made a bet with a friend of mine, a chap called Neil Carter, who played cricket for Warwickshire with the Bears at the time. He's just such a dude, such a nice guy. But anyway, he come back from training and he was just sort of sorting his kit out. And I looked at his thigh pad and I just went, "Is that what you wear?" I was like, "Yeah, that's what I wear." And really, you're a professional and that's what you wear? And he was like, "Yeah." So I sat there, I tell you what, I bet you a pint I could do a better job. And that started it. And so we put something together using some tech that was sort of available at the time, did some tweaking, gaffer taped it to his legs. He went off to training and I got a call at training saying, "Dude, you need to come in." It's like, "Oh, what's gone wrong?" Oh, my lawsuit. Like, honestly, it's just a friend. The whole squad's there. There's a B squad there. There's a ladies team there as well. And everyone is literally hitting him with their bats going, and he's just laughing. So this is awesome. This is so cool. This is how it can't feel a thing. Can we all, like, everyone wants one. Can we all get them? I was like, yeah. I don't know how much they cost. I just had to, it wasn't a business model. It was just a thing. And it sort of grew from there. And the design has changed. How they're made has changed. It's evolved a lot, obviously, since then. But now we did a count at the start of the 2020 season. And about 42% of professional county cricketers in the UK have bought and used Stretton Fox equipment at some point over that time. So that was sort of the live number. And it's been really good fun. It's been a very interesting time to sort of shot straight in. And I've worked with a lot of international teams. When they come over, I'll get a call from like the strength and conditioning coach will say, the lads have been told they all need to come and see you to get fitted up for some personal kit. It's been a lot of fun. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about other stuff. Yeah. So Callum, where do we start?
Well, I was gonna ask you a very similar question, really. I know a big bugbear of yours is the actual amount of thought that goes into the kit we play in as cricketers. And I guess really, I'm very happy to take your lead as a man that can make pretty much anything out of soft materials. Where you see this, I know it's something that's frustrated you for a while, George.
What would be really good is I could get really nerdy and really geeky, and that's probably going to get boring very quickly. So what I'd be really keen on doing is the bit that frustrated me as a player, as a customer for kit, is the science behind it's always a little bit fuzzy. And you'll get test grade, club grade. Well, what is that? Like, I get it, I can understand what you're going towards, but how much better is this glove than that glove? Has someone got any information on the units of energy transfer through this from a 70 mile an hour full toss delivery landing on my little finger? How do I compare them? The whole massive, this will be a sore point for a lot of people talking about bats, and what is 10 straight grains and why does it need to look unnaturally, perfect? And does that affect the performance? Thick edges, thin edges, all that sort of thing. Hopefully what I could do is shine a bit of light without using bro science and using actual physics and science to say, okay, let's just think about this in a basic principle. Maybe provide enough information and enough thought to allow you guys watching this to make informed decisions when you're buying kit for yourself. It's kind of like when you go back when you're a kid and you see your favorite player in the sixth, and you're like, yeah, I want that bat because he's got it. I want that bat, and that literally that's about as much science as you get. Apart from people saying, yeah, it's got a big sweet spot and it's really big or it's really good. I'd love to know more about that. How could we use, a bit more science to actually find out, and sort of understand the difference? Why is people obsessed with the cosmetics on Willow rather than just performance? Because that's surely what you want to do with it.
Yeah.
And it's little things like how many people go into a shop and they buy. I can't wait till we can go back into shops, but they go in, they buy a pair of gloves. What are those gloves designed to do? That's to help stop you from breaking and hurting your fingers. Well, how many people actually in the shop get a cricket ball, put the hand on the counter and give it a good whack, and sort of just hit the hand just to go, I wonder if this hurts or not. Oh, that really does. I'm going to try these gloves on instead. Oh, these are really good. I'm probably going to get these ones. Most people don't. Some people do. But if you're going to buy a car, you're going to take it for a test drive. And we're talking about broken fingers and stuff that's really not very nice. And some people, they'll put batting pads on, they'll get a bat and they'll sort of give it a bit of a wallop. Oh, these are good. Again, how can we sort of just push it a little bit further and provide information so that people understand a bit more about what is actually going on? There's this mindset of, let's say thigh pads as an example, just so happen to do that. But yeah, sorry. Hang on, let me just pick this drop up. So the idea is there's that joke of back in the days, man and woman would go out to bat and they put a bar towel, down the side of their leg to a bit of protection, or they'll leave their fag packet in the pocket, because that'll do something. And you look at what's available and you think, I wonder who's actually thought about the science of what you're looking to do here. As in a nutshell, basically, this is all relative to mass. So you could say, okay, here's a cricket ball. It's this big. When it hits you, the point of impact is about as big as the tip of your little finger. It's going to be traveling fast, and it's going to really hurt. It's going to do some damage because it's a nasty, projectile. Especially if someone like Mitchell Johnson's throwing it down at you on an angry Saturday afternoon. So how do you manage that impact from a scientific point of view? If you just put something squishy, it's just going to go in through the squishy thing and come out the other end. And so with iPads, if you just get a block of foam that's quite soft, or even if it's relatively hard, if you in like super slow motion, the impact energy, it's going to hit that, it's going to travel through the foam, and then you'll have a point of penetration that goes through the other side, and it can be called something like back face deformity, which is why you get hit, you don't get the initial sting, you think you're okay, it's like a little bit sore, but the next day you've got a bruise the size of the universe on your thigh.
You're talking from experience, George.
Yeah, it flipping hurts. And it's all right on the outer thigh, but then if you get hit on the inner thigh, you've got arteries and stuff that can really go wrong. So, and then you go, well, how come inner thigh pads sit in the wrong place? They're on top of my leg. Why aren't they here? And so it's stuff like that really bugged me, and that really got me sort of thinking, right, I'm going to do something about this. So, for example, with something like that, the mass of your body is greater than the mass of the ball. So theoretically, if the two come together, you're not really going to get knocked over. It's going to give you a nasty bruise, but you're going to win. Now, if it's the other way around, if I'm coming off my bike and I'm hitting the floor, I'm smaller than the earth. I'm not going to move the earth unless I'm Chuck Norris. So I'm going to need to cushion my fall because it's bigger than me. So if you're providing just a load of cushioning, what you're kind of doing is, are you protecting the ball rather than the player? What you want to do is just flick it off. You don't want it. So you want something that's rigid, that's hard, that's going to stop that from traveling through. So you don't want that penetrative sort of impact. And then you want something quite elastic, just get rid of it. So when it hits, it just goes, doing, bounces off. You don't want it to go, ooh, and, come into you. And there's so many, it's not unfortunately that simple. There's lots of different ways, and it applies differently to different equipment. It's pads, gloves, helmets. Helmets is a really interesting one because that takes into account so many different things, especially with like recent, researches into concussion. That'll be a whole episode.
So it could be, couldn't it? That could be the whole thing. But I mean, it's interesting you bring up thigh pads. I mean, I have a story on thigh pads, which was one of my original coaches at school played for East Kenya in the first ever Cricket World Cup, and he relayed a story to me about the England opening bowlers providing him with a towel, with a couple of towels to put on his thigh before he batted. And I'm unsure how many runs he got, but I think he was there for a while. And he tells me as he came out and he took the towels out of his trousers, they had blood all over them. Luckily, at least they protected him enough to stop it, for him to keep batting. But he said, the technology now is amazing compared to what it was. And he was obviously very grateful to those England bowlers for coming in and giving him the towels at the time.
Wow. It's bonkers, isn't it? It's absolutely nuts. I think tech as well, in sport especially. I mean, look at stuff like the running shoe over, the last 20 years, the last 40 years, how much it's changed. Even the last 2-3 years, it's constantly moving ahead. And I sometimes question the speed at which cricket equipment evolves and whether maybe there's a bit of room for improvement. So, but at the same time, you have to provide the reason for that decision. You've got to be able to prove the point. So I think what we can do definitely with this show is I'd love to be able to break down a load of different topics and just talk about them in enough detail to sort of provide information that hopefully will be useful, interesting. If it's not, I think that's when you guys need to write in to Callum and tell me to shut up. But if we can, provide sort of just information, maybe get a couple of the pros who wear the kit that I produce to sort of come and have a talk about stuff, from their perspective, it can hopefully be quite interesting. And I think above all, just allow people to have more information and more of an understanding of the reason why they've got kit in a certain way. If you're a bowler and you're looking at bowling shoes, you kind of understand about ankle support and the fact that your heel's striking the ground really hard. Something that provides a bit more information about that. Well, did you know the reason why from a biomechanic point of view? That might just make a few people go, oh, okay, that's pretty interesting. Okay, I'm going to stop wearing my slippers. And if we can do that, and that could be useful and interesting, then that's perfect. That's a win.
I mean, I like it, and it ticks a few boxes with me around STEM and education possibilities within cricket, and also careers in cricket. It's not just playing or coaching. There are so many other opportunities in the game and in sport as a whole. And I truly believe that over the next series of weeks that we do this little piece, that people will start to understand exactly how much effort and how much time has gone into these products and actually what they are delivering from not only a scientific base, but also from a performance base, and something that certainly should be looked at more within cricket, I believe.
It'd be really good to, I know quite a lot of people in the trade, and I'll see if I can get them to join, because it'd be great to get a couple of people on from specific parts of the industry, because it is so broad and they'll be so obsessively, focused on what they do, why they do it. They're people that work in cricket, usually very passionate about the sport. And it's quite interesting when you can see the face behind something like yourself. Yeah, there you go. I'll make a couple of phone calls. I'll see if we can get some people on. That'd be good. That'd be really good. Well, I know we can get some people on. So yeah, I'll get some people on. That'll be good.
No, it's fantastic. And I mean, George, I think if there was ever a way of introducing you, that has certainly done that. You are passionate, very visionary in what you do with your kit, and I am really, really excited to see what you come up with in future weeks. Thanks so much for your time, George.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to the show. And if anyone's got any suggestions or ideas, email it's cricket@berco.co.uk.
That's right.
Yeah, so let's get some suggestions and thoughts in. What would you like to see? What would you like to know stuff about? Let's get some banter going. That'd be good.
We're here for you, the audience. After all, that's why we're here.
That's fine. Thank you, Callum.
Brilliant, mate. Take care.